Jey Uso in love with Rhea Ripley, best and worst of WWE Raw. AEW stars sends a message after Nia Jax returns to WWE. Why was Sami Zayn absent from WWE Raw? Backstage report on Matt Riddle's latest controversy. LA Knight and WWE said to be far apart in contract negotiations. Lack of intrigue in Jey Uso Kevin Owens saga. Let's jump right into it. Best and worst of WWE Raw. Tonight's episode of WWE Raw was surprisingly filled with some significant developments. It was eventful for a show in the middle of September, with no premium live event in the next 3 weeks. Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, and Rhea Ripley had busy nights. Meanwhile, the show ended with a massive return. So let's look at the main positives and negatives from the final WWE Raw of the McMahon era. Number 3. Best and worst. Not like most WWE Raw ending. The Women's World Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez was great. They were worthy of main eventing WWE Raw, with this encounter surpassing their effort from Payback 2023. However, the end of the match saw Nia Jax make her return. She attacked Rodriguez, which allowed Ripley to retain her title. Jax attacked Mommy and staked her claim for a title match, potentially at Fastlane. When it comes to finishes, this was quite a shocker. Nobody expected Nia Jax to get involved, but based on her appearance at the Royal Rumble, a full-time run doesn't seem like the most exciting prospect. Here's hoping this feud ends up boosting Rhea Ripley's title reign. Number 2. Worst. Why is Shinsuke Nakamura waiting? Seth Rollins is not medically cleared to compete, yet he's putting his pride before his health and challenging Shinsuke Nakamura to a rematch. The Visionary did that for the second week in a row, but the Japanese star declined the challenge. The King of Strong Style is more interested in attacking Ricochet backstage than facing an injured champion for the World Heavyweight title. The match will eventually happen, but it doesn't make sense that Shinsuke Nakamura doesn't want a free hit at Seth Rollins when he isn't at 100%. Number 2. Best. The Jey Uso Kevin Owens dynamic. WWE Raw kicked off with Jey Uso, who was quickly reminded that not everybody is as welcoming to him as Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens said he didn't trust the former Bloodline member before they were essentially made to team together. The two faced off against Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. A minor miscommunication saw Uso superkick Owens by accident. This has been a setback for their relationship, which will be put under the microscope following Zayn's return to WWE Raw. Furthermore, the Judgment Day's interest in recruiting Jey Uso hasn't cooled off. Things could get interesting. Number 1. Worst. What was the point? Cody Rhodes' return to WWE Raw was one of the most heavily promoted segments. Fans were eager to hear what the American Nightmare had to say, especially after talk of him potentially leaving the Red Brand to join SmackDown. Rhodes was set to speak about Jey Uso before Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonagh interrupted him. Cody then beat up both heels pretty easily, and we don't know what he wanted to talk about. Answers may be provided soon, but tonight's show suffered for it. Number 1. Best. Drew McIntyre has an eventful night. With Matt Riddle missing WWE Raw, Drew McIntyre got into some interesting situations. The Scottish Warrior had a great match with Xavier Woods. He defeated the New Day member after nearly losing multiple times. This felt like the first step towards a potential heel turn for McIntyre. He then encountered Jey Uso backstage and set up a match for next week's episode of WWE Raw. The Scotsman still doesn't trust him, which is the right decision. Whether it is at the expense of Jey or Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre's heel turn might come sooner rather than later. He needs it more than anyone. AEW star sends a message after Nia Jax returns to WWE. WWE superstar Nia Jax made her much-awaited return to the company on the latest episode of Raw. AEW star CJ Perry, famously known as Lana, took to social media to send a message after Jax's return. Jax's last WWE appearance came at the Royal Rumble back in January 2023. Since then, she did not make any appearances until the latest episode of the Red Brand. In the main event of this week's Raw, Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley defended her title against Raquel Rodriguez. During the match, Nia Jax came out of nowhere and attacked the latter, which helped Mami successfully defend her title. However, after the match, she came inside the ring to confront the Eradicator. The Irresistible Force took out the champion as well, making it clear that she would go after her title. Lana took to Twitter to send a message to Jax following her WWE return. The AEW star wrote that she loves wrestling and was a fan of the Irresistible Force's work as a heel. Nia Jax is such a heel, haha. I love wrestling, Lana wrote. During a recent episode of the Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T said that he wants to see more of Jax in WWE and believes she won't lose to anyone if she wins a championship. I don't think we got a chance to see enough of Nia Jax when she was around. I thought Jax was like Godzilla that was just going to walk the earth and pummel everything in front of her, just destroy everything. I think if Jax gets the championship, she'd have it forever. One of those types of deals. I would love to see Jax come back and do something big. Fans went wild when the 39-year-old made her return, and they now believe that she would give a tough fight to Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Let's see what the Stanford-based promotion has in store for her. Do you want to see Jax dethrone Ripley? Let us know in the comments section below. Why was Sami Zayn absent from WWE Raw? On the latest edition of WWE Raw, Kevin Owens and Jey Uso teamed up against the Judgment Day as Sami Zayn was absent from the Monday night show. The tag team of Owens and Jey didn't get the result they expected, as both stars suffered a loss against the villainous faction. However, However, the reason behind Sami Zayn's absence from the red brand could be to revive the bond between the prizefighter and the Samoan star. Even when Jey Uso returned to Raw last week and reunited with Zayn, Owens showed some trust issues with the former right-hand man. However, as the promotion seemingly wants to turn Jey Uso into one of the biggest babyfaces, it seems like the creative team is trying to strengthen the bond between KO and Jey. Moreover, Zayn was also part of Superstar Spectacle in India, which could be another reason behind his absence, as the company wants to give him a break after an exhaustive travel schedule. Despite Sami Zayn's absence, the bond between the prizefighter and Jey didn't seem to improve, as Jey accidentally kicked Owens during the match. It will be interesting to see how things will unfold in the near future, and whether Jey will be able to regain the confidence of other stars on Raw or not. Next week's edition of WWE Raw is set to feature a massive blockbuster match, as Jey Uso will face Drew McIntyre in a singles bout. The match was announced after Jey and McIntyre were involved in a heated backstage confrontation, with the former issued a challenge to the Scottish Warrior. The reason behind this challenge was the comments made by McIntyre, where he expressed some trust issues with the Samoan star and also mentioned Jey's possible alliance with the Judgment Day. Talking about Sami Zayn, as of now, the company is advertising Zayn for next week's Raw. The potential scenario that could unfold is how Owens will confront Zayn and address his issues with Jey Uso. It will be interesting to see if Jey Uso could cause some tensions between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens next week. Also, the match between McIntyre and Jey will be interesting to witness, as Dominic Mysterio may offer some help to Jey in an attempt to recruit him to the Judgment Day. Backstage report on Matt Riddle's latest controversy. Matt Riddle has found himself in the center of yet another controversy after what appeared to be an interaction with the Port Authority police went wrong. The star alleged that an officer had sexually assaulted him. However, there were other conflicting reports about the same. Now, after the star was pulled from Raw and live events, there's more information backstage. There are currently investigations ongoing after the sexual assault allegations by Riddle, with TMZ reporting on the same. They also said there had been information about trouble with an individual who turned out to be the former champion while deplaning. Before WWE Raw, it was reported that Riddle was not backstage for the episode. He had also been pulled from his advertised appearances at the live events for this weekend. Now, Mike Johnson of PW Insider has reported on the situation. The report stated that there was backstage talk among the talent that they had been told Riddle was pulled from WWE Raw due to a medical illness. The nature of the illness was not specified. With the entire situation murky now, it's not clear what exactly has happened with Matt Riddle and what the future of the star will be. For now, fans must stay tuned in for further reports. LA Knight and WWE said to be far apart in contract negotiations. WWE's resident megastar LA Knight is negotiating a contract extension with the company. However, a new report reveals that the parties are much further apart than once believed. As reported earlier this week, the 40-year-old and several other top WWE superstars were involved in negotiations for new contract extensions. Upon hearing this news, many within the WWE universe hoped that Knight would be re-upped relatively soon. In a new report from Fightful Select, it's been revealed that WWE and Knight are nowhere close to ironing out a new contract, as the two parties are said to be very far apart in terms of money. The outlet also stated that a WWE source revealed that Knight's current WWE deal is nowhere close to being up as it continues into 2025. Fightful was also able to debunk the rumor that WWE was waiting to give Knight his push until they signed a new deal. They noted that there are superstars who are currently receiving pushes but have yet to sign new contract. The report did confirm prior reports that WWE is seeking a 5-year extension for Knight. However, it is unclear whether the deal will be a true extension or a whole new contract. LA Knight's rise in popularity has reportedly earned him a spot as one of WWE's choices to possibly win the Royal Rumble. According to a report from Zero News, an internal shortlist contains a number of options for potential winners of the Royal Rumble, which includes Knight, last year's winner Cody Rhodes, the current Intercontinental Champion Gunther, and Solo Sikoa. Lack of intrigue in Jey Uso-Kevin Owens saga. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo is not excited with the new Jey Uso-Kevin Owens angle on Raw. The Judgment Day walked out to recruit Jey Uso into the ranks. The faction patronized Jey and claimed that he would do great if he sided with them. However, the former Bloodline member didn't see eye to eye with the group, leading to an impromptu matchup pitting Judgment Day against Jey and Kevin Owens. In the match, Jey inadvertently superkicked KO, allowing Finn Balor to pick up the win for his faction. On the latest episode of Legion of Raw, Vince Russo claimed that the whole match and segment made no sense because there was no way Jey would join the Judgment Day. He explained that there was no excitement for the angle because it was very clear that the kick was just an accident. There is no intrigue here because you know it was an accidental kick. He's not joining the Judgment Day. Everybody knows he's not joining Judgment Day because it wouldn't make any sense. Therefore, the kick was an accident. So all of this nonsense is for naught. During a backstage segment after the match, Kevin Owens was visibly irate with Uso for his action. He yelled at Jey and even told him to go and join the Judgment Day. This came after their promo exchange in the ring, where KO conveyed to Jey Jey that many people in the back did not like the fact that he was now on Raw. Owens also told the former right-hand man that he had to go a long way before he could be trusted by anyone in the locker room. Do you agree with Russo's comments? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Jey Uso in love with Rhea Ripley. WWE fans are having a blast on Twitter over Jey Uso's reaction to being told that a top female star is a fan of his. The Judgment Day seems quite interested in adding Jey to the group. The stable has been trying to convince him that joining them would be wise for the former Bloodline member. On tonight's episode of WWE Raw, Jey Uso and Finn Balor were involved in a backstage segment. Finn told Jey that he, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio were his fans. Jey didn't seem interested, but Finn caught his attention when he said Rhea Ripley was also a fan of his. Jey is now a Raw exclusive star while his brother Jimmy is still on SmackDown. As per reports, WWE is planning to have the real-life brothers kick off a feud on the road to WrestleMania 40 next year. Zero News' latest report states that Jey could kick off his feud with Jimmy Uso at the 2024 Royal Rumble event. The twins could get into an altercation during the annual Free-for-All, leading to a match at the show's shows. What do you think of Jey's hilarious reaction to learning that Rhea Ripley is impressed with his work? Sound it off in the comments section below. Rhea Ripley sends a two-word message to Jey Uso after interesting exchange on Raw. Following this week's Monday Night Raw, Rhea Ripley took to Twitter to send a two-word message to Jey Uso. Jey was involved in a backstage segment with Finn Balor, who claimed that the Judgment Day was his fan. The multi-time tag team champion was visibly happy after learning that Ripley was a fan of him as well. Taking to Twitter, Ripley sent a two-word message after Jey's interaction with Balor. Rhea Ripley wrote Ripley, "At Payback 2023, Jey was drafted to Monday Night Raw after previously quitting WWE as a member of the SmackDown roster. On the Red brand, the 38-year-old has been locking horns with the Judgment Day and has also been confronted by Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre recently recalled his history with the Bloodline and spoke about Jey Uso. In an interview with Sportskeeda Wrestling, the former WWE champion mentioned that he wasn't interested in forming a faction. McIntyre also recalled the Bloodline's actions against him before his match against Roman Reigns at Clash at the Castle. I don't know, I have always felt more like a lone wolf, and I have noticed that a lot of people have been forming factions and using it to their advantage. You mentioned the Bloodline. There's a reason why I wasn't giving Jey Uso a big hug when he showed up on Monday Night Raw, because he was kicking my head for 6 months straight and making sure I didn't become the undisputed champion. I just can't imagine myself in a group right now," he said. McIntyre will be in action against Jey on next week's Monday Night Raw in a highly anticipated singles match. Are you enjoying Jey's run on Monday Night Raw so far? Sound off in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing.